Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts to take a look at what has been going on with the crypto space. We've seen a recent pullback with Bitcoin and many of those altcoins as well, so we want to kind of review what is going on here and what I think is likely to happen next. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, then hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you have not yet done so, check out Discord. Links are in the description down below. Completely free to join, and it's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. I spend a lot of time in Discord, and I'd love to have as many people of the Cheeky community down there as well. Also, check out the Patreon links in the description down below if you're looking for a little bit more, from buy, sell signals through to staking signals, all the way through to 2 AMAs weekly with me and Chris as well. So check that out if that's your bag. Right, with all of that said, done and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what is going on here in the crypto space. Okay guys, I'm going to actually start this particular video off on the daily chart, because I think there's something really important here that we actually have to, we've been speaking about it for a while, actually quite a while ago, but something we have to talk about because it is something that we are revisiting. Okay, so this is something that happened a while ago. So what it is if I grab hold of my head and shoulder pattern here, is basically the head and shoulders that we obviously spoke about a little while back. So this was forming on our daily chart. I'll just quickly roughly draw this up so you guys get an idea what that actually looked like. He says if we can draw it in, there we go. Not exactly where it is, but it gives you the idea that there's your head and shoulders, right? Now, this head and shoulder pattern with the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder is a pattern that we don't actually actively trade on here, but we wait for a couple of confirmations, right? And here we have a daily chart, right? And if we were to take a short position on this at this point here, in this particular example, it would have worked out in your favor because we did actually come down quite a way. But often what we say is you want confirmation that we are, in fact, actually coming down lower, right? And again, this is the scenario that you could have potentially been looking at, was these lower lows, right? And a lot of people potentially were shorting it, thinking that that is what was happening, and obviously got wrecked. But what we often say here is you wait for the break of the neckline, you come back for a test of the neckline. If I draw that accurately, it tests the neckline, and if you are rejected, then you can, feel free to do what you need to do. In this particular example here, we didn't actually, negatively get impacted by it. We broke the neckline, we fell down, we bounced, and we smashed straight through it, right? So again, wrecking anyone who is shorting here using this pattern. So this pattern's great for it, gives us ideas of the general direction of things. There's a high probability that you might break that neckline, and there's no guarantee of it, of course, just probability that you are going to. And of course, if you were to get rejected from the resistance, then of course, you are likely to come down to the lower areas where we were previously before that left shoulder formed, right? So interestingly enough, what we actually had here was a confirmation. We pushed right the way through it. And what's going on right now is a retest of that breakthrough. Okay, so this is actually really interesting because it basically means that this particular pullback that we're currently experiencing here is potentially going to find support right around this this $40,000 or $39,000. It's actually $39,500 range, right? So right in here, this is where the area of support is going to be, where we actually look for confirmation and good push to the upside. Okay, and on this daily chart, the other thing that we can really acknowledge here, and we can measure this from our A wave up, if you will, down to a B wave and a C wave. Now, if we measure the A wave distance, and we transpose that over onto our B wave low, this is not technically an impulsive move, right? It hasn't crossed the 1.382, we haven't come up to the 1.618 or anything like that. So it's just an ABC move here on our daily chart. This effectively means that we are corrective up. Okay, and we might actually still have this trend to the downside still to play, right? And we've spoken about this before as well. So it shouldn't be new to you guys if you're familiar with the channel. Even if you're new, then why not go ahead and not only just subscribe, but check out some of the previous videos. You'll get an idea of what's actually going on from a wave count perspective. So here we can obviously acknowledge ABC up, and we are in an ABC down, right? So let's actually jump into our hourly view, right? Because now we can actually get a good grasp over what is going on here. Now we obviously know that the head and shoulder retest is this pink line just down here after a complete breakthrough of it, then this is an area that we should be really thinking about as a potential area that we are going to find support, okay? And potentially launch up from there. Now, on this move to the downside, we can see that this is quite an impulsive move. Okay, so we're going to start with that in a moment, but I also kind of want to just draw up this move. So this is a peak. We had the initial pullback here, and we can, of course, transpose this over to this side. Okay, this then shows us with a 1-to-1 ratio where our C wave would actually likely be. Okay, so if this is wave A, this being wave B, and wave C would have been a 1-to-1 ratio, about 48,500, right? And we've just overwicked that a little bit. Okay, not impulsive on the bigger scale here. So again, very corrective on our daily chart, right? So that would represent a daily chart move. Inside of this, however, if I just quickly remove the fib, I'll leave the ABC in place. We do actually have an impulsive move inside here, right? This is the impulsive move. So if we actually measure our A wave here and we transpose this over to our B wave, we can see that we went way past the 1.618, we went past the 2.618. Okay, we went past it and we actually consolidated a little bit here on that 2.618. Now we actually created a double bottom, and you can see that right there. Okay, so this is actually an interesting indicator right there. We bounced right from it. A double bottom is a bull signal. But again, on the wave count side, so Elliott theory, we should of course be acknowledging that this is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, a bounce for wave 4, and wave 5 is still to come. Now here we can obviously see A, B, and we'll probably wait for a flat correction C at the top. So it looks like we've got a sideways trade here, a zigzag, and this looks like it's going to be just an A wave up initially, a B wave down, and then a C wave coming up. So I find resistance on here, and that would be the most probable. And again, that would allow us to acknowledge that we are double bottom, double top, or actually a double bottom, triple top, because we already have, if I move those out of the way there, a double top, which would be a bear flag, bringing us down into this double bottom, taking us back up into a triple top, where I do anticipate a bit of a pullback. Okay, and that pullback would be completing our fifth wave. So I'm going to move that fourth wave just up here, and I'm going to move it in between so you can see what's going on there. Now, of course, we know that that's an impulsive move down. We know that there's a corrective move happening right now. It looks like a zigzag, just a flat correction, a continuation pattern. And again, if we throw the volumes on here, one of the other kind of things to kind of just really focus in on is this would represent something that is often referred to as a bear flag. And what we mean by that is you have the pole coming down, and whilst we have all of that, red candles formation, we also have high volume, okay, and the volume's dropped off as we go sideways here. Okay, so these are meeting the requirements of a bear flag. So just be wary that actually what that means is a continuation. This is a fourth wave as well, which also means continuation in the following trend, which is down. Okay, so the trend that preceded it is the trend that is going to follow it. Okay, just bear that in mind. Right. So now we obviously know that we are looking to retest this area of $39,500. Now, if we actually take the measurement of our fourth wave just here, and we do this, we can see that the 618, the 1.618 comes in at $39,524. That there would be a really good area of a test of this previous line. And again, we've actually come down reasonably low. Let me just throw that on there. I think, yeah, it will come down a little bit lower potentially, but right on that neckline for a test. And I think that is a very probable area that we are likely to get a bounce from, and are likely to start to see a bit of a push to the upside with an ABC move. Now, of course, all of this is looking at the hourly chart, looking at those micro movements, looking at the bigger ABC. That C wave, by the way, guys, from our daily chart, can very comfortably come down into this range without going impulsive, just a slight overwick, and again it meets all those requirements. So if I do just quickly measure that again, and we transpose that over to the B wave high, here you can see it's nowhere near the 1.382 or the 1.618. So we know that that's perfectly valid as well. So that's perfectly good and all looking pretty good from that perspective. Now, obviously, when we actually zoom out a little bit here, we can, of course, acknowledge that we were tracking quite nicely for an upside. This whole move here could be a wave 2 of a much bigger wave. In order to really review that, I'm going to come back up into our daily chart here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove those 5. I'm going to actually just change those over so that they are only visible on the hourly chart. Let's get rid of that. Okay, cool. So on the head and shoulders, the look for the retest. All of this here could just be one entire wave. This could be a B wave, and then we follow for an additional wave up, right? So if we actually take this measurement just here and we transpose this up to this this area just below here, where we might actually come down to $39,500, then actually this shows us with our most probable next move to the upside, which would be A, B down here, and C coming in all the way up here at about $54,000 to $55,000. Okay, so that could be our move. Now, of course, this can go impulsive by crossing the $67,000 range, and again from there, then obviously you look for a fourth and a fifth wave, which we can obviously talk about that on the large time frames. Right now, the other thing that's really worth noting, guys, and it's an important one because obviously we talk about all these various different waves, the counts, the Fibonacci relationships, and all of that kind of good stuff. The other thing that we have to really acknowledge here is the stochastic RSI. Now, on our daily chart, the stochastic RSI is almost corrected, which means this last little pullback right in here seems to be the very last one, probably before we start that big push to the upside. So this is now getting confirmation that things are finally getting into a pretty good position. We take a look at the 8 hourly, that's in a really good spot as well. And we can take a look at our 4 hourly, that's in a good spot. That's not a problem at all. We take a look at our hourly, that needs a correction, right? So we are looking for corrective action here. So whether or not we push up into that C wave high for the ABC sideways trade right now, or whether we just trade sideways, get a small push up there and then pull back down into this range, that hourly chart is going to allow for such a move. And it's good to see that the daily is almost where it needs to be. The weekly chart's already down here, right? This is hugely bullish. This basically is indicating that we are looking for a big surge to the upside on the weekly chart. And I've spoken about this so many times. Hopefully you guys are very, very aware of it. We take a look at these low points and we're right down in this oversold area, right? We take a look at we're being oversold where we are right now and look where we are on the chart here. Looking pretty good from those kind of perspectives. Let me just clear that up. And as we come back down, we can also acknowledge, the bottom of wave 2, we were oversold. We rode this actually up and we actually wiped this out right here. Right, this weekly chart got wiped out, really, really bullish on that move to the upside. That allowed us then to continue right the way up into these high points. We actually started to get corrected on our stochastic RSI at this point before pulling all the way back down into that fourth wave. We can also acknowledge that at the very beginning of this bull run, we were heavily oversold and we rode this all the way up into those wave 1 highs. Okay, so we always have to consider where we are on this stochastic RSI on our weekly or our monthly chart, and they all look very, very good for a good surge to the upside. So really important that we understand that things are looking pretty good and pretty progressive across the different time frames here. We can also take a look at that monthly being right down here in the ground as well, which we haven't been down here since January of 2019, guys. So really, really good intel here on what is likely to happen next for Bitcoin, right? So we look for this last little bit of corrective action. And once this is done and once this is out of the way, I am expecting an impulsive move to the upside, which will form the C wave on our daily chart, which will of course lead into a potential impulsive move overall on the larger time frames. And so guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found this useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all of this said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.